All right. So I'm assuming this mic's going to sound terrible, so apologies. I'm not going to talk too much, just a little bit here at the beginning. Then we'll listen to some music and we'll check out what's going on. But really, why I decided that I had to do a stream today is because the markets broke a pretty key level this morning at the open. Absolute trash. Here, let me see how bad I sound real quick, and maybe I'll do a little bit of chatting. But at the beginning, now we'll listen to some music. Oh wow, it's actually not too terrible. So maybe I can talk. I'm using a built-in the microphone that's built into my laptop right now, so that's probably why it sounds different from last time. Anybody even remembers what I used to sound like? But yeah, I busted my microphone while I was in Thailand. Pulled it off my desk and it hit a ceramic floor. Something inside of it busted. So didn't realize that this microphone would actually be relatively decent. I figured you'd hear the fan from the computer going, but I guess it's not that bad. Speaking of which, I'll turn my AC off here so there's even less background feedback. So yeah, it's the end of the world as the banksters know it. This is insane, absolutely crazy what we're watching right now. We've broken down to our support from May of 2017. So just absolute madness going on in the markets right now. What are we at now? I think we had a 12% plunge. I posted on, yeah. We're 30% down from our highs. I doubt that's the end of it, to be honest. I think it's a little bit further actually because I didn't even collect or get that whole thing. So let's try that from the highs all the way down. Oop. All the way down to here, 31%. Yeah, anybody that thinks this is the end? Not close. Nova, no, I'm not even close to the U.S. I'm back in Malaysia still. Went from Singapore back to Malaysia, and I'm gonna stay here and weather this storm out here, for a few reasons. Firstly, I'm kind of betting on hopes that this virus is climate dependent. So it being a tropical region down here. It's starting to spread down here in Malaysia, so I'm kind of a little bit worried that the weather might not really have as much of an impact as a lot of people think. It might just be that it thrives in certain conditions, while in other conditions it's still like DGAF, it's the honey badger virus, it don't care, right? So, but I'm still staying here because I am under the belief set that developing countries are going to weather this collapse of globalism that we're witnessing, whether it's a temporary or permanent collapse. I think they're going to weather this a lot better than first world nations who are highly dependent upon producer nations for most of their goods. The collapse of the supply chain, as a few people in the chat have already pointed out, is already visible in the States. A lot of people in the States, you don't have crap in your stores, and don't expect those stores to be restocked for weeks, maybe months. Hopefully only weeks. Devin Steve and been singing "End of the World" for the last week. Yeah, I feel it, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Absolute madness right now. Good luck getting medical help medically. I'm not really worried about medical help, Mass One. I'm here more so because good luck to anybody in the world getting medical help in the next month. Really, just if you think that because you live in a first world nation that you're going to receive better medical help than people in a third world nation, well, or a second world nation technically is Malaysia, then you don't understand what's about to hit the medical industry with this virus when it really reaches its peak numbers. Nobody's going to get medical help, and for starters, there's not even a vaccine for people to get any real help. The most that a hospital is going to do for you is make you comfortable while you die. That's really what they're going to do. They're going to put you on a ventilator system, so you die. It takes longer for you to die. So be really clear here. If you have a severe case of this virus, well, sorry, there's no helping you, right? Like you just stay at home in bed and die, where you're not going to infect other people in a hospital scenario. You'd just be better off that way. You'd be bettering the rest of humanity in that situation, unfortunately. Until an antivirus comes about, there is next to nothing a hospital can do for you, short of, literally pumping your lungs, which is not exactly feasible. That there might be like some options, but they're not anything you're really gonna want. It's not the first world nations that make the ventilators, is it? That's another point, Devin. It's not. And that's something that I think that people in first world nations don't really take any value into is you don't make anything, America. You don't make crap in the world. You are literally a parasite on the rest of the world. As an economy, America's economy is a parasite. You buy everything. You don't make anything. And you buy everything because your government prints money. And guess what? The world's getting tired of you printing money because it's devaluing the money that they're taking from you. So it's coming to an end, like right now. like China has cut off your supply. And they say no more. It's done. It's done. So I saw it coming, but blockchain backer kept me bullish. Did I sell your XRP before the dump? Hazelcraft? No, I didn't. I actually bought an absolute metric ton more, literally the day before XRP dumped. I thought that 20 cents, I was like convinced when we hit 20 cents that was the bottom. Crypto Boo Boo, how's it going? Glad to see you. Carl Lewis, thanks for stopping in, bro. But yeah, Hazel, I didn't, bro. I bought bigger bags, but you know what? I'm gonna buy even more as soon as my money that I took from the stock market finally clears my bank, assuming it does, and the banks don't just go on holiday and everything shuts down. I'm gonna have a lot more XRP, especially if we keep in this price range long enough. Like, I've not lost faith in crypto, especially not in XRP. I really think that, the more things seem to line up, the more I'm really starting to become convinced that it's orchestrated. I don't want to be like too conspiratorial and say that the release of the virus was intentional, but I think that the virus is absolutely, as soon as this virus came about, the powers that be in the markets were like, this is the perfect excuse. We're absolutely going to use this for causing this crash. And they know that there is nothing that they can do about it. They know that the crash is the end of their world because the Fed's already at 0% interest rate. What, the United States going to go negative? Yeah, every single person on this planet knows that if the United States goes into negative interest rate, that it's the absolute end of the fiat system. All fiats are going to become so volatile, it's going to make what Bitcoin and XRP has been doing the last few weeks look tame. It's going to be absolutely goofy. What's up, Sam Willis? Thanks for the warm welcome. My understanding is the virus doesn't like sun. You're not going to die. Ridiculous. I'm not going to die anyways because I'm 30 years old. I'm healthy. I'm a healthy 30-year-old, Brian. It's not about the virus, who the virus is going to kill. It's about how the virus is affecting global economics. And if you don't understand that, where the hell do you live? Where do you live that the stores aren't empty around you yet? Because that sounds like you're surrounded by a bunch of idiots, and you should get the jump on all those idiots and get to the store before your area is out of groceries. It's not about the virus killing everybody. That's never been my concern anyways. If you followed all my tweets, since this has become an actual thing and I started taking it serious, this isn't about the virus killing everybody. It's about the virus causing an end to the global supply chain, a disruption sufficient enough that we witness store shelves go empty of all essential goods, food, and within 3 months, all Americans are going to be eating each other. If this lasts 3 months, Americans are going to be eating each other, literally. I'm not even being like a fearmonger in that regard. That is literally what you will resort to. And you're saying, I would never eat another person. Yeah, try to say that when you're starving, because that's literally where America's going. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of first world nations. It's not just America. It'll likely happen in almost all countries where they actually have a population which they cannot sustain off of local produce. It's this is the like I was really hoping we wouldn't go this route, and I think that that's part of why I didn't get into the conspiracies that we saw a lot of the space getting into over the last year, because I was like, if things are as bad as a lot of people are speculating, then most people are going to die. We don't have a good outcome if the economies collapse, because most people will literally starve to death. Carl Lewis, Americans. Hey, they're nice and fat. You'll be good. Got my guns and ammo ready. Gonna go hunt you some of the most dangerous food supply on the face of the planet, right, my dude? I'm laughing because it's so horrible that I don't even want to believe it. It's such a horrible potential outcome that I laugh, because it doesn't seem real that this is really happening. I'm in the point where I'm like, it's a bad dream. I'm gonna wake up and there's no such thing as COVID. I'm gonna wake up and the markets didn't just take a 30% plunge over the last 2 weeks and can't find a bottom now. 30 points down already, and we're not even getting a real bounce. We got a hourly bounce, and that was erased as soon as the markets opened today. Erased, and then below where we were last week, below our low of last week, significantly below this red line, this support, which should have been, if we were going to stop falling from here, this should have acted as support. We should have bounced back, but we've wicked now below our long-term support, and so it's not going to be good. It's gonna be probably I think that before we see a real bounce, that this is likely to be a 40% to 50% retracement before the dead cat bounce. And take that in consideration, anybody that understands market terms, that the dead cat bounce, let me show you Bitcoin's dead cat bounce. Does anybody remember when Bitcoin's dead cat bounce happened back in 2017, 2018? Yeah, let's go back on Bitcoin's history, and we'll look at that dead cat, and then I'll go back to the traditional markets too, and I'll show you the 2008 dead cat bounce, right? So Bitcoin, it had a nice dead cat bounce off of 10,000 back in December of 2017, and here it is. There's that dead cat bounce. What a beautiful bounce. See, it tried, and that's the shoulder. That's the shoulder. And the reality is, sheepish buffalo. I don't think that there's a few routes that things can go. The collapse gets so bad that people start to starve to death, and some type of maybe action is taken for America. Either that, or foreign nations decide to seize the opportunity of America having collapsed under its own weight and start invading America, and then Carl, sheepish buffalo. Yeah, I think that XRP can absolutely go lower. A lot of people are like, I was hopeful that we would see XRP rocket, but I didn't really consider the fact that people would be margin calling to meet their to meet the needs that they have from their losses, to try and stem their losses from the rest of the market. I didn't take that into consideration, and so that's why I didn't think that we'd ever even see below 20 cents again, and that was naive on my behalf, very naive. So at this point, what we're seeing in the markets right now, yeah, I think that XRP could probably see a 5 cent again. I don't know about a half a cent, but 5 cents, that's probably that's possible. At this point, I wouldn't put anything out, but I'm still going to be buying all the way down, because in my opinion, if any currency is going to come out on top in the new world order, it's going to be XRP. So, but yeah, dead cat bounce of Bitcoin was at 10,000, and guess what? The market spent another year just to find the low, its current low of 3,000. So back onto the Dow. I'm saying that the Dow Jones is going to have a correction, a 50% correction, which I think will take us to about 1,500. And there's actually, there's actually some technical indicators that would be it as well, because if you look here, just below or just above the 50% retracement is where we had support back in 2015. A double, arguably, if you go back all the way to August 2014, a triple bottom on this range. So we might actually have moderate support here, and this is probably what the whole market's looking at, because there's nothing below us right now. Look at this. Look at this. This is this run up. There was no support formed at all in this range. So it's going to come all the way down here. It's going to bounce off the 18 probably. We'll see a nice little bump there. Maybe we get the dead cat bounce there. And if that happens, you know, maybe instead of potentially a 70 to 80% retracement, maybe we only see a 60. You know, maybe we only enter into an extreme recession instead of a true depression. But I think America's headed for a depression. Yeah, packet soups, porridge. Yeah, you're going back to 1929 in America. Like, that's really what's going to happen. And the same will happen for Europe. The same is going to happen probably for China, you know. Maybe not, because they have such a large middle class now that they can probably keep their economy together just by dealing internally. And that might be what we're witnessing them doing right now. Who knows? Do you think that can be applied to current climate? I missed something. Dead cat bounce, isn't that how the virus, you mean? The spread of this? The beer flu is a biological weapon released to accelerate the tanking out of the world economy. So the U.S. can say, look, it's not our fault, it's the CV. James Ryan, I mean, maybe, but it was released in China, from a China. If all evidence is correct, this was released from a Chinese lab. So why would a Chinese lab give America a scapegoat when China has the most to gain from America being blamed by the entire world? Right? Oh, do you think the TA? I don't think that the current climate, as far as like political climate, you mean? I don't think that political climate has anything to do with what we're witnessing right now, to be honest. I think that political climate is, well, to be clear, political climate in America is why I would rather be in any country but America right now. But in all honesty, I prefer to be in Southeast Asia right now over Western countries because of the political climate, right? The collapse of supply chain is the beginning, or COVID really is the beginning, right? COVID is the beginning of ugliness. Everybody's going to go loot all the stores. Then enter into the collapse of supply chains as a result of this, because all the stores are empty and they're not being restocked for weeks, if not months. This leads to a extreme scarcity mindset, and I expect that political climate in America is going to hit fever pitch. It's going to get absolutely batshit crazy over there in the States, because everybody is going to be blaming everybody. The right's going to be blaming the elites, the Democratic elites, for collapsing the market to try and make Trump look bad, and the Democrats are going to blame Trump for forcing the Fed to cut interest rates when there was no reason to cut interest rates. And it's going to get ugly because people are going to start getting hungry. There's not going to be shit on the shelves. There's no sports to distract people. It's going to get ugly. There's no distractions in America anymore. Everybody's got to deal with this. And it's only going to get worse the longer people have to deal with it. That's why I'm out. I have nothing to do with it. Y'all kill each other, because that's what most Americans are going to resort to. From what I've witnessed, I don't have any faith in American society, because Americans are literally children. They're like, by and large, the only people Americans care about is their own party, and they're so colorblind, they don't have any clue as to the fact that really this has probably been orchestrated against them. You know, that's really conspiratorial, obviously. But, you know, if people can sit around and say that COVID was created by the deep state to empower the economic collapse, then it's no more conspiratorial for me to say that what we're witnessing right now is literally the sides being pushed against each other so that they all kill each other, so that the powers that be can sit back, smoke giant cigars, and say, wow, what a bunch of morons over there killing each other. Because that's how you can that's how you maintain power. You maintain power through Art of War. People have, I'm sure that many of you have read it because I know there's a lot of brilliant people in our community. But anybody that hasn't read The Art of War, it's really clear how you maintain power. You divide so that you may conquer the will of the people. That's why democracy is such a powerful force for oligarchs. Maybe, but it won't be that bad. I mean, lucky XRP investor, I hope, because my family's still all in the States. All my family's still there. But with what we're witnessing right now, the way that the markets are reacting, I have little to no hope for the future of America, or most Western countries, to be honest. For starters, America is the least likely to actually take any actual precautions to stabilize or prevent the spread of this. I mean, I know that America has shut down its schools. That's good, but the reality is there's not a lot more that America can do without stepping on the rights of the citizens. Closing the schools is about all that they can do because state-owned schools. So outside of that, what's America going to do? We're going to tell the firefighters not to go to work. So, okay, we can do that. We can tell the police that they're not working. And the military say, hey, go back home. You're on leave. That's not going to happen. Not during a state of emergency. The military is going to be on duty. They're not. That's the last thing America would do, right? But that's like the only other extent that they could do to stop the spread of this amongst military personnel. Is say, okay, military, you're all restricted to your barracks for the next 2 weeks or until we call on you. Because there's really not a lot else they can do. Shut down the schools, you stop the parents from going to work. Well, I mean, that's really the only option they have at this point. Because children are little parasite factories. They're the perfect carrier for these viruses because they don't get sick from it. 10-year-olds, anybody under the age of 10 doesn't even display symptoms of it, but they still carry it. So your little 10-year-olds are going and giving it to everybody. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be scary. I'm just trying to be a realist in this situation, bro. And the reality is people need to really, if you think it won't be worse in Asia, yeah, but that's because I think you need to learn how to forgive people better, bro. I don't know you all that well, but I get that from a little that I've watched you. I mean, to be clear, I'm not here hoping for the end of America, right, Lucky? It is a fear that I have because everything that has happened over the last few years is just a little too convenient. This virus is just a little too convenient, and the measures that the government is taking to combat it are just a little too convenient. And DNI, what's up, bro? DNI says the virus is the inciting incident to kick off the globalist endgame. It's happening. Central banks get bailed out. Then governments get loans and credit lines, all from the IMF, Rothschild's backed. And yeah, I'm not really too worried about that being the financial endgame, right? But what I'm more worried about, DNI, is the population control endgame that so many have coupled with this reset. And I see this, and I see the heightened political tensions that we see in most Western countries. It's not just America. It's happening in Germany as well. It's happening in Britain. It's happening in France. It's happening all over Western countries. So it's not just America, but America is the one that I am most intimately familiar with the situation of, right? And I see this heightened political climate as essentially just what I said earlier as far as, art of war. It's divide and conquer. And you have the masses kill each other like in the American Civil War so that the elites can sit there and, sit back and watch, because that's really what happens. The elites are going to go to places like Dubai and other parts of the world where they know that they're not going to get hit by this as hard. And if this virus is influenced to a high degree by warm weather, then where I'm at, it's the best place to be. It's the absolute best place to be. I love you too, Lucky. I hope that I hope that I'm wrong. I really do. I hope that in like a few months I look back in this and I'm like, man, I let myself get way too far out there, right? I let this virus just really just take control of me, right? But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Gyms are closed in the Netherlands. All gyms. Interesting. Martian, entirely possible the U.S. deep state agent released the CV in China and buggered off quickly. Maybe. The worse the inciting incident, the better opportunities for digital assets as a non-traditional solution like XRP. Yeah, no doubt, dude. We've already seen plenty of articles and evidence pointing that this is exactly what they intend, that they are using this to push the global economy onto the digital, down the digital path. I mean, I can't even count how many articles I've already seen talking about that digital assets are a solution, right? Or the alternative, and talking about dirty money and how money is carrying this contagion. So it's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I've received like 5 ads on my Grab app over. Let me turn my fan down here. No, down. Oh, we'll turn that down. Sorry, it's getting too hot here. I need to turn this down real quick. But so, like, I've received so many ads from my Grab app telling me to go cashless, and all offering me all these rewards to go cashless. I'm like, I'm already cashless. Why do you keep spamming me with these ads? And it's because a lot of people obviously have not yet done this, but that's obviously the intent. They're pushing so hard for it. Devin, Steve, no other virus affected the monetary system like this one, yet they have been as bad. First off, what I would say to that, Devin, is that swine flu came at the peak of the 2009, or at the height or the bottom of the 2009 recession. So that's why we didn't feel anything from swine flu. Bird flu and mad cow, I don't know that those were as large. And when you actually look at how the Spanish flu affected the markets back in 1929, well, everybody knows 1929 when it comes to markets. So there could actually be a very real case made that the Spanish flu was a major contributor to the 1929 crash. There's actually a good case to be made for it when you actually look back in historical context. Probably more than likely, I don't know, but sucks, but hey, buy some XRP, let's get rich, whatever, DGAF, life goes on. Hopefully we're all here, but hopefully not, we're all effed. I don't know, I just woke up, God bless everyone, seriously, get in the word, Real Talk TV. Bro, I mean, I get it, guys. Nobody wants to hear the ugly truth. I don't want to even be having the thought of the ugly truth. But when I keep, getting ready to go to bed every night and seeing this madness every night during the weekdays, the market's just falling further off a cliff. It's like, okay, this is the real deal. This isn't just 2018. No, we've taken what happened in October 2019 rather, to like the nth degree, or 2018, yeah, October 2018 to the nth degree at this point. Yeah, but those mad cows are crazy. This one chick chased me with her broom all because Carl, I love it, brother. Oh man, the Black Hammer. CINNT, contractless payments being pushed through. .000 infected SARS 4 month and COVID only 48 days. Yeah, and that's something we need to take a look at here, right? So this is I've been checking this almost every day, and the issue is that yes, 77,000 people have recovered, right? But here's the real issue, right? When it comes to the actual metrics you want to follow with this, it's not how many cases are total versus the deaths. It's how many people have recovered versus the deaths. All right, and this is our real metric for the mortality rate of this virus, because this is how many people have recovered versus how many people have died. And this percentage is so obscenely high compared to what we're actually being shown that it actually makes it far more terrifying. Because that shows an 8%. And if we're talking, it's still going exponential. It's not slowing. You know, despite schools closing, despite people closing their borders, this is still going exponential. Like it hasn't. It's still going. It's still growing rapidly, and it's not just the total cases that's growing exponentially. It's the active cases, and this is really the scary one. The active cases is what's really frightening. Because as long as this continues to rise, then the total cases are going to continue to become more exponential. And I think that at large, you know, if we go down here to the total identified cases, right? America's hit just under 4,000 cases now with 70 deaths. So that's only a 2% mortality rate for total cases until you realize that only 73 people in America have actually recovered so far. There's still 3,665 active cases in America. They've been calling the bottom for longer than the last 3 days, Carl. They're calling the bottom with this bounce that we got, before this bounce that we got on Friday. I think they were calling the bottom back here on the 12th. But it's funny though, because if you listen to the news, every single actual expert that the panelists have on are like, no, this is going to be like a 50, 60, 70, 80% retracement. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. It's just going to keep going. Whereas the panelists are like, yeah, but you know, it could bounce from here, right? And they try and discount anybody that's actually saying that this is just the beginning. David, no, I have not been tested. I've been confined to my Airbnbs for like over a month at this point, because I didn't go out really. I went out twice while I was in Thailand, and since being back in Malaysia for like a week and a half now, I've not been out yet because I lost my debit card. So I'm waiting for a new one in the mail, really hoping that comes in the mail, because, you know, I'm kind of getting really slim on funds now, so I really need a new debit card ASAP, so hopefully it comes quickly. But I haven't been outside since I've gotten to Malaysia, so I'm not worried. My host is moderately low risk as well of getting it because of his work, so. But yeah, it's they say 150 million in the U.S. That's what they expect to see infected, is 150 million in the U.S. I mean, that would be like half the states. So, you know, with its R naught being as high as it is, it could absolutely infect the entirety of the world. Have you caught up with DNI while in Thailand? Unfortunately not, because I was very restricted financially while I was in Thailand. Mainly because the channel wasn't doing well and I was trying to find some alternative means of employment. And now I don't even know what to do in regards to that, because, you know, I'm just going to be living on my, my nest egg that I have out here, because I'm not going to be getting a teaching job with all the schools being closed. So that's just not an option now. I did not receive any replies to any applications I put out, and it makes sense. Edward Benson, what's up, dude? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, it's crazy what we're seeing right now, and it makes it. I don't think that people understand that it's not about just the virus. That's not what scares me, honestly. I'm not, like, personally, like, as I said a few times now, I'm not at all scared of the virus. If I get the virus, woohoo! I'm nowhere near any of my friends or family, so I'm not going to infect any of them. And there's no way I'm going to get my grandparents sick with it. They're the ones being the most at risk of dying from it. So for me, it's like, okay, I'll get sick for a week or however long it lasts. Woo, right? Maybe I should look into that DNI. I should look into private tutoring. But I'm not really worried about the virus, though, because I'm young enough that it's not going to harm me. But I'm more worried about the effect that this is going to have on supply chains and the effect it is actively having on supply chains. And thus, the real fear is I'm not really worried about there not being food on shelves. I'm worried about the people who don't have food to eat because there's not food on shelves, and the psychological impact that will have on those individuals as a result of not being able to get food despite having money, and the impact that will have on people with children, especially, because now it's not just about not feeding themselves, it's about not feeding their children. And humans are not as civil as we like to pretend we are when we're put into such horrible situations, right? So it's going to be an issue. Parents will want to get their kids some English teaching while off. Yeah, I know that I'm sure that that's actually what I was trying to do, is become an English teacher, but I need to find like some virtual schools. I need to find virtual school programs to become involved in. I think the biggest issue with that's going to be that because you can have such larger classrooms with virtual classes, that that might also be why I'm not receiving replies. But that's a good idea. I should look into specifically virtual private tutoring, virtual tutoring, and see about that. Or because since I don't have a teaching background, I think that's also why I wasn't getting replies, because most of the places over here want you to have at least a bachelor's in education. So that was not what I was led to believe when I first came over here. So unfortunately, there are some English teaching jobs up here in Udon. Funny, when the schools go back in May, might have to teach bingo and hangman to 17, 18-year-old. So not really that great. Yeah, we'll see what happens, and that's really the big issue, is just waiting out the storm to when everything hopefully resumes to normal. It'll give kids of today that back when I was a kid story of their Great Depression, right, Carl? I think that's you know, I think that's probably why a lot of people just think of it as conspiracy, what I'm talking about, because, you know, very, very few people alive today experienced the Great Depression. And so it seems like some, you know, far off, inconceivable thing that could never happen. But a lot of people died from the Great Depression. A lot of people. And that was after the most horrifying disease, you know, since the Black Plague, which was Spanish flu. So I don't think that people really understand that, you know, society is a delicate thing, and humans are delicate things. You know, we are not immortal yet. You know, we haven't reached technological immortality yet, guys. So there are numerous events that can occur between now and then that prevent us from truly becoming, able to sustain indefinitely as a species. Um, and this an economic collapse is just is the most mild of them. This virus might just be the most mild of it. Yeah, the BS is needed for most countries here now. I taught back in 2002, 2003 here and South Korea. Yeah, unfortunately. Maybe I'll have better luck now if I like change my resume to say that I have a bachelor's in teaching, since nobody will be able to actually like inquire the school in America since they're all on leave. So hey, maybe this is the time, right? BTC is pumping, you say? BTC pumping. Well, let's see. Let's see if BTC XRP, what this is doing. Oh, what the heck is? I don't even know. Oh, that's why. I was like, this chart doesn't even look right, but that's because it's not. Bitstamp. Okay. Well, Bitcoin is pumping and XRP is double topping against Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin USD is. I just had to check XRP before we went to Bitcoin to see what Bitcoin is doing over here. Yeah, Bitcoin is it's climbing. I hate all these ads. Someday I'll get rid of them. Oh, it actually recovered back past its previous level. Is XRP doing that same formation? It must be, since it's running so high against Bitcoin now. It is. The whole market's rebounding, ladies and gentlemen. Is this it? Is this where crypto finally distinguishes itself from traditional? Why is it still saying that it's so far down? They have an update over here, I guess. Strange. Is it because I'm on a minute? Let's go to 15 minute. Oh, okay, never mind. That's just from our dump. Okay, so we have. That's not a pump, brother. That's not a pump. I forgot that I was on the 1 minute chart there. Yeah, that's just the bounce back. This is probably gonna flatline almost right around where it's at, to be honest. It's gonna basically do with one of these guys. It's just a smaller version of this, which is actually good, because if this is the end of this dump, if that's all that it could dump down, we got that 40% dump, and then it bumped up halfway. So this was from its peak down 20% dump, and now it bumped up halfway to 11, right? So that's really what we're looking at with XRP and Bitcoin, probably the same way. Let's see. Just to make sure that Bitcoin is doing the same, but it looks like it is, because it's still down 6.5%. I like this this XRP chart that I've been seeing, though. This has been oh, I'm still on XRP USD. I'm like, that's not looking right. All right, Poloniex. I'm loving this. XRP has come back up to levels from the end of February and is flatlined here. Looks like it's wanting to bump through, all because Bitcoin dumped so hard. It's really strange how that works. When Bitcoin dumps, XRP pumps against Bitcoin, but when Bitcoin pumps, XRP dumps. That's the trend that I've noticed. And I can't help but wonder if that's a good, if Bitcoin were to go to zero, just how hard would XRP pump? Right? That's kind of why I'm voting for, or hoping for XRP or Bitcoin to go to zero. Not really, but I just expect Bitcoin to go to zero just because Bitcoin sucks. One second.
Sorry, I just need to let you know that the Prime Minister just announced a lockdown for KL because COVID-19 cases in KL.
So it's the whole city's on lockdown now?
No. So how it's gonna be like? So that like eatery shops will be closed.
Okay.
I think Grab food not gonna be. You
Ooh.
won't be able to get Grab food
Right,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest
Yeah.
things that affect you.
Okay.
So if you know, like opposite here, there is a grocery inside.
Okay.
So if you want to get some basic stuff, you still can get it.
Right.
You just probably need to come back and cook. Right. Simple one. Okay. Yeah. Things.
Yikes.
Until 31st of March.
Till the 1st of March.
Yeah.
Or
the 31st of March.
31st of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to let you know.
Good stuff to know. Hopefully my card comes in immediately then.
You know.
Yeah, because that's what I'm using Grab.
Banking should be still working.
Well, my issue is that I don't have my bank here in Malaysia, so
I see.
so I have to wait for this card to come in, and hopefully it does really soon with this going on. I do have cash still, so thankfully I do have.
I also wanted to check with you if you do you have your plan for next, like where you're gonna go.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on going to Sabah actually after this.
Sabah.
Assuming I'm able to, if this continues.
Yeah, I'm not very sure if you can fly out for now because as in for current situation you might not able to fly out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into figuring out what I'm gonna have to do, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. I was kind of wondering when Malaysia was gonna take precautions, but thanks for letting me know. I'm doing a lot right now, so
sure.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the heads
Just
up.
let you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, that's interesting. KL is now on lockdown, so now I'm going to be in even more issues here. Haha, fun stuff. Well, shit just got even more real for me. But yeah, the Prime Minister of Malaysia just announced that Kuala Lumpur is on lockdown. So I might not even be able to be ordering food. I might actually have to go out and use what I got right now to hold on, sorry for the noise that you're probably hearing. I'm trying to balance my laptop here. We still good on chat? Is everybody still able to hear me? Oh no, yeah. So interesting stuff right now. We'll see how this works out. Okay, let's get this expanded. Yeah, I lost my debit card at the worst conceivable time in freaking human history, it seems. Because this probably means that postal services are going to be delayed. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in serious world of hurt if this continues. Yikes. Full lockdown. We're waiting for the announcement tonight at 8 p.m. in France. Yikes, bro. Yeah, things are getting crazy. Just wondering, since USD THB rate is 32 baht, whilst USDT is 34, which prevents moving XRP from exchange to exchange and making arbitrage profits. I don't know. That's actually man, that's a good question, Sheepish Buffalo. I'm not sure. That's crazy. I never even considered that. Carl Lewis, like David Schwartz's wife said, make it a chopped episode, right? I hope you learned Kung Fu while you were there. Damn, bruh. Yeah. Did you have your debit card hooked up to your phone? Yeah, Nova, I did. So that's how I've been staying alive, basically ordering food through Grab services. So I've been able to do that, but there's a high chance that that's not going to be an option after today. So thankfully, I still have a little bit of cash. I still have like basically $50 US worth of cash on me. So I'm going to use that purely for food and go to their store and pick up some stuff to survive on for until the 31st, apparently, is how long they're going to have it KO on lockdown. It would suck, but also then again, 2-cent XRP. Would you say that was ignorant? I didn't even see what you said that was ignorant. I'm not worried. No Revolut card yet, Martian. No, I did not get a Revolut card, and I'm kind of regretting not. I I was honestly trying to get the Uphold card because they were going around doing that. They were doing like beta, and my mom got a hold of one, so I really wanted one of those. So I applied for that and never got accepted for it. And then when they released it, I was already like traveling between Malaysia and Thailand, and I didn't want to order it while I was in Thailand. And now I'm like, wow, it's a little late now. So, do we need to send in the Red Cross 31st go 31st G's? uh, Craziness, man. It's absolutely madness. But yeah, hopefully it. KL doesn't even like they haven't even had that many cases over here in Malaysia, but you know, it is at the end of the day a good thing that they're being as proactive as they are before cases really start to get crazy exponential here. But yeah, there's craziness. That just blew my mind that my host came and told me that. Sorry, I'm like kind of doing all kinds of mental gymnastics trying to figure out what I'm gonna do this week now. I figured that would be in the main support of people who know and people who really know or believe it will be as big as we do. 2 cent, you mean, for XRP? Yeah. I feel like if you go back in XRP's history, like all the way back, right? I think Poloniex is the one that has all the way. Well, pretty far. We'll go to the daily. Stop spamming me with this crap. I hate you and your... So, I think it was... No. I think I have to go on to... actually on the CoinMarketCap to show you guys this. So, I may be wrong, but I would personally put my money on the 10 cent really actually being the bottom. And this is because of historically, back in 2014, oh no, maybe it wasn't. What? Maybe it's 5 cent. What? I swore they went to 11 cents. Where was I getting that from? I'm actually like really confused. I think it might have just wicked up there then. And it doesn't show it here because it happened on such a short time frame. Let's actually zoom really far in. We'll see if we can see that. Bop, bop. No. All right. Are you going to show me the top? Okay, so 6.5 cent. We'll see. Because that was the peak of its very first bull run. And so if we get the trough touching the peak of the previous, then that's probably our bounce point. Otherwise, if we're just looking at our current cycle, you know, the 2017 run, then yeah, maybe 3 cents, because that's where like there's the basin at. So between where I swore there was an 11 cent peak somewhere. I just can't remember where now. Maybe it was this little wick right here. Let's see. Eric. I hate trying to look at charts on CoinMarketCap. It's just like so, because their system like freaks out all the time on me like this. So let's try and zoom in again. No, all. Give me all. I'll just refresh. We'll refresh. Well, how about that? Okay. There we go. Zoom in there. Zoom in there. Let's see what that loads up. I'll send you some XRP 11 cent a few days ago. I'd send you some XRP 11 cents a few days ago. Oh, do you have a way to cash out? I don't have any way to even cash out right now, DL. So while I appreciate the offer, unfortunately, because I don't have access to my bank account right now because I have no debit card and my bank is a US only bank, I'm kind of up crap creek right now until this comes through. So yeah, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that this doesn't disrupt the mail, because that's really what I need more than anything, is the mail to, okay, it's not gonna let me do it. I give up. Actually, I can just look at it on here. What am I doing? I'm being ridiculous. I am not thinking straight. Okay, there we go. Stop with your pop-ups. Okay, so this peaked at 7 cents and it troughed at 2.5 cents basically. So yeah, you might actually, you might be onto something there, Lucky, that because where we are now is dangerous, is a dangerous range. Like where XRP is flirting with in its current, there's not actually like where it hit that 10 cent, there is technically no support down there, literally nothing down there. It actually never even wicked that far during prior to its previous run up. So that's why I'm like, well, it really could go lower, and I'm not really sure where it stops. Maybe it's at 7, maybe we get a wick down to 2. That really could be realistic. So if that happens, though, I will absolutely be a billionaire because of XRP, because, well, assuming I have access to my funds, then I will absolutely be set for life. DL, Western Union, I'm not sure if there is one near me. Like I said, I've not been doing a lot of exploring around here. But yeah, it's in the worst case scenario, I may just be going and visiting my girlfriend's family and praying and hoping that everything works out. We'll see. But yeah, because they're like an hour and a half drive from me. So in worst case scenario, that's where I'll fall back to, and hopefully everything will come through. Yeah, best strategy is the hodl. Really, like that's how I feel, Lucky. You could absolutely cash out now, expecting the prices to go lower, but why? This really might be the bottom. We don't know. Nobody knows. And obviously, I've tried so many methods of tracking what this king market's going to do for years now, and nothing works for tracking what it's going to happen, because the market's so volatile and so easily impacted by literally anything and everything that happens in the world. It's like, there's no way to judge what it's going to do next. So at this point, I'm just betting on the fundamentals of XRP. I'm going to continue to bet on the fundamentals of XRP until those fundamentals fall through the floor. And that's just how it's going to be for me. It's why all of us in the community say this is not financial advice, because we might be. I think everybody who's in XRP, who's deeply in XRP, is half married to the fact that we might lose everything that we put in it. And we just accept that chance because of the potential for the unimaginable returns that this could someday yield us, So let's see. Carl Lewis says, even if we are totally off the mark and XRP really is a shite coin, at 2 cents, easily back to 20 cents, 10 to 15x, can't really beat that. Yeah, right? And I don't think that we're off the mark, Carl. I don't. I think that the biggest threat is really an absolute total collapse of the global financial system in its entirety, and it doesn't come back. And at that point, it's like, well, who cares how much money you had, because you have no money now. Nobody has money because money's not a thing anymore, right? Like, it's either, the way I see it is, XRP either succeeds or society fails, because there's not really any in between. There's not really any, like, well, we keep on this system where governments are the primary beneficiaries, and distributors of currency around the world, or we go to a point where there is no currency because everybody's in total and absolute anarchy. And everybody's just bartering with whatever they have for things that they need because nobody trusts money anymore. 100 is a good first sell target. I mean, I will probably be taking my first profits at this rate with how much XRP I'm now getting and going to be getting if I'm able to take advantage of this slump that we're seeing right now. I'll probably be taking my first profits at $5, bro. I will be retiring at $10 if this continues the way that it is. If I get to buy at 2 cents, I'll retire at $1. Like, it's just game over if we go to 2 cents. I'm like, okay, get me to $1 because I'm retiring. But yeah, that'd be a great shirt, Carl. XRP success or end of the world as we know it, right? But anyways, guys, I've been going for an hour. Let's check what the Dow's doing, see if it's still in this lull or if it's starting to fall out. I feel like even if this just stays in a lull, tomorrow is going to be bad. I mean, today's already bad. We're already down. We went down 12% from peak, almost 3,000 points at the bottom, right? 2840 we're down. And we're still down probably like 2,000 or so. Let's see. Yeah, we're still down about 2,000 points. Probably a little bit less because I put that a little bit above there. Let's drag this over and see what it's saying exactly. Down 1937. Yeah. And that's it's climbing. It's trying to climb. It's setting highs, higher lows as it's climbing up. So we'll see what that does over the course of the day. But I'm not holding out much hope, to be honest. Obviously, I don't see any evidence that this is going to stop. This dump was on the back end of the Fed cutting rates and pumping more money. Keep that in mind, everybody. That this is after the Fed announced that they are doing everything, that they gave all these benefits to the banks and cut rates and dumped more money and dedicated to doing even more for the economy, and it still didn't help. It dropped 3,000 points in the first hour of trading. This is not the end. It's going to keep going, and who knows where we stop. But I think that's going to call it for me, though. I'm going to call it here, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Now that I know that my built-in mic actually works, I'll do some live streams for you guys. I'll start doing live streams each morning now, just to do something, because I am so stir crazy here. I need people to talk to, and Twitter is just Twitter, right? it's like you don't really get to communicate with people, or I don't really get to vent my frustrations or what I'm seeing or feeling in a great degree of clarity. I feel like Twitter, I'm so restricted in what I'm able to actually convey. So I'll just get back into doing some streams, and I'll see all you guys tomorrow. Lucky, and with what you got here, think about it, Jay. I know it's hard, but look, we made it this far, and yeah, $10. Yeah, exactly, dude. I've been in the market, an investor in crypto as a whole. I've been investing since 2017. So I'm confident that eventually this is going to turn around. I've been investing for 3 years. I've been studying the market for over 5 years now. So I'm not just because prices are going down, it does not at all have me convinced that this is the end of crypto. I'm convinced that crypto is going down because, well, have you seen the Dow? Take a look at the Dow. Does Bitcoin and XRP look like it's doing worse than this right now? Because I don't think anything looks like it's doing worse than this right now. This is a fucking nightmare. Just absolutely horrendous. So I'm perfectly confident that what we're witnessing is short-term pain, And as long as we're all strong, as long as we hodl on, we're going to get that long-term gains. Just got to be patient. And remember what I have said since starting my channel. I don't think that the crypto markets are really going to boom until 2021. I think that that nothing really happens with crypto until 2021. And this fallout is just further confirmation to me that we're not going to see anything, at least in the first half of 2020. Maybe we see the bounce back at the end of 2020, but no real gains until 2021, at least. But thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all stay safe. Avoid highly populated areas. Make sure if you're able to stock those pantries, get all kinds of canned goods, because obviously everybody's getting shut down. Everybody needs to be prepared to go on personal lockdown in their home for upwards of a month. So I hope you all the best. I hope to see all of you in tomorrow's stream. Stay safe, everyone. Love you all. Peace.